Damn.
Well,
I want to be able to see tonight. Do I need one of these?
Okay, now try it.
Okay, microphone, and let's do this. Well, let's try to put it as a count. Testing 1, 2. Okay, I got good sound. You can hold this.
all right.
And I really don't have anything exciting in show notes other than starting working on my layout again, which I look forward to. This is going to be so much fun this year. Ready?
Oh, sure. Let's do this.
Mikey, give me a countdown. 3,
2,
2,
1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you.
These are anyway.
And by GL Robotics. With over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock, your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com. And by ABR Model Works. ABR Model Works designs and makes model railway building kits and scenic accessories for HO scale, with an emphasis on ease to build and highly detailed, realistic-looking scenes, and are available at Spring Creek Model Trains. Check out their website at abrmodelworks.com. Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 216 for November 19th, 2022. It's been a great week this week in that the What's Neat video came out for the month of November, and in that video is the one where I build that trestle, Lightner trestle. And I watched that video the other day, and I could not believe how much work I put into that bridge. One of the people's, there's been a lot of readers' comments on that one.
Yeah.
And some of the people said, I'd love to have your energy. I would love to have my energy too when I built that trestle. I'm not sure where that went, but it's coming
in Josh's
back.
basement.
It is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
There's a lot of new exciting things going on this year around here as I am rebuilding and changing this layout. Obviously, I'm not into narrow gauge like I used to be 5 years ago, so I'm changing this back over to standard gauge, which is going to involve a lot of new industries, an intermodal facility, a lot of really neat models that I'm looking forward to that I will be able to model, including some of these. I want to put that brand new engine house on the layout from ABR Model Works in Australia. That gentleman last week on the show, Chris, was absolutely amazing. He's a very thorough individual when it comes to planning his company. And as we're going to open up one of his kits tonight and see what's in the box, the instructions in this kit are just like an article unto themselves.
Right.
So it's absolutely amazing how thorough Chris is, and I'm sure he will have a very successful company.
When I notice he's making like the best combination of laser cut wood as well as 3D printed stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, these things will be detailed to the hilt. Right
And
out
the
of the box.
packaging in there is really something, too. Everything is, I mean, that box is packed exactly the right size. You know,
Yes.
Why don't we go ahead and open it?
He even designed his own boxes.
Yeah.
He told me that there is going to be a product code that you can get 20% off of any of the kits that he's got at abrmodelworks.com. The promo code is WNTW10, and we are going to open up this kit. It's called Michael's Freight Depot, and there's 111 3D printed detail parts in the box.
Look at this.
I know.
He's got cable reels. He's got barrels,
Nice.
pallets. You name it.
Trash cans.
Even the window mullions for the windows are
Right.
all just very scale, which has always been something hard for the manufacturers to pull off.
Wow.
The roof can be removed so you can see all the interior detail inside, made using modular model building system components so that you can easily modify this structure as you're building it if you so choose. The build instructions in this, did you see the instructions? The instructions are like a full color article.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the instructions.
I was looking at it earlier. It's pretty impressive.
The wood is high quality. The base is in the kit. All the brickwork. And the box itself he's designed himself. So these are the components right here, essentially 3 components, and all those super detail parts that add to the detail of the structure.
It's amazing what you can do with a little bit of 3D graphic design and the printer at your disposal. That you can really detail things to hilt. If you think it, you can make it.
I mean, your imagination is the limit with stuff like that.
He's got a great website. You can check it out at abrmodelworks.com. There's also a lot of YouTube videos. And in fact, he sent us a personal video tonight for us to review, showing us the components in this kit and showing us how it was built and put together. The guy is very, very, did I say he's thorough? I've already said that probably 4 times. I'm very impressed with this company, and I'm very happy that they are now promoting their products in the continental United States. He's got a firm hold there, whereas Spring Creek Model Trains is helping him with his distribution.
Oh, okay.
Another very, quantifiably excellent contact, because I know that Mike Zucker and Dave and Deb and Jeff and all those guys will do very well for him. While I'm on the...
And they seem to get a lot of people that are right there on the cutting edge with the 3D design and that sort of stuff that, might not find a huge market otherwise, but, you go through them and suddenly, it opens up a lot.
I want to cover all the business right away before we get into the model railroad aspect of talking about what we're building. Spring Creek Model Trains has sent us 5 different freight cars. These are exclusive freight cars to Spring Creek Model Trains. 2 of them are Rapido cars. 3 of them are, in fact, Bowser. So we love Lee English out there at Bowser, and he makes some amazing stuff. But so does Jason at Rapido and his full crew of folks. The first car I want to talk about, and I shot these outside today when it was 20 degrees out there and the winds were blowing at 30 miles an hour, and I've still managed to pull this off. This Pro car, number 5720 covered hopper, reporting marks, WNPX. Did I get that right?
UNPX.
UNPX. My W doesn't look right there. It's UNPX. This is a blue freight car, and according to my notes, this car is an exclusive to them. It was an experimental blue scheme. There was only 1 car that was ever made in this paint scheme, and it lasted for several years in the blue paint scheme. And you can find that, all these models, at Spring Creek's website, but they wanted me to roll some of the website on these cars as I discuss them, especially the second Rapido car that we're going to talk about, which is the OMAX Auto Flood 3 Rapid Discharge coal car. This one comes with a load. This is a beautiful car. OMAX is the reporting marks on that. Car number 1504. And again, I shot this one outside today in real sunlight. The fidelity of the end detail, and I'm probably going to shoot video of this. Those guys knock it out of the park when it comes to fidelity. This is the kind of stuff that we used to do articles in Rail Model Journal on, where we would scratch build brass ends on our freight cars.
Yeah.
And this has already got all that on it, including...
Better than we did it in brass.
It's finer than than what we could do with our brass when we were doing it.
It's amazing. All the brake detail, the piping and everything, the reservoir, all that stuff in there. It's
I agree.
amazing.
Yeah.
Now, the ballast cars that we've got are from Bowser, and this again is also exclusive material for Spring Creek.
Looks like old two-bay covered hoppers
Right.
modified for ballast service.
Yeah, right.
Going back to that auto flood coal car, there's 18 cars that they've got with different numbers on it. 12 of them are currently in stocks. Another 6 are coming later this year. And they're also coming out with cars that have no numbers on them, so you can add the length of your train by simply adding decals to the car. I mean, that's thinking ahead, really is. Now, to the ballast cars, the Bowser cars. The first one is the Denver and Rio Grande car. This was the one in black that I photographed outside today. Car number 25007. Reporting marks right before the number is AX. And just a absolutely amazing looking detailed car with a load. I shot this one on top so you can see the load of the ballast on top. These cars were converted, obviously, from a standard two-bay
covered hoppers.
Correct.
Yeah.
The next one is the Santa Fe ATSF car number 177159. This one is in mineral brown and it's patched. The logos on it are patched as it's got that Santa Fe quality logo on it.
Quality logo from the 90s, right?
It is, that Q logo. And the
So-
last one is ATSF car number 17787 in Santa Fe. All these come with metal couplers and metal wheels. And quite honestly, I have not run these on the layout yet, but we are going to do that tonight because I want to see these things roll. I will tell you, outside in the wind today, they were rolling quite freely. I did multiple photographs of these cars before I got actually ones that weren't blurring. It was definitely a test to my skills outside. They also told us that they are giving a special discount to the What's Neat viewers of the show. WNTW1122 is the product code to use, WNTW1122. And this sale ends 11/30/2020, so 2022. So that's at the end of the
until
month.
the end of the month,
Where you get
yes.
free shipping on any orders over $250 in the lower 48. So check out their website. All these cars are on it. I looked at them tonight. And good job, Mike. Good job with the notes tonight. I really appreciate you guys helping us support the best hobby in the world. This week was Train Fest. And Train Fest evidently was a total success. All of the vendors that I have talked to, including Denny Yelsma, are very thrilled with their sales. Denny did an amazing amount of sales. He sold jackets. He went through the What's Neat hats in the first 15 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
And various people walked up to Denny and wanted to get their photographs taken with him or have their picture taken of them wearing the new hat next to Denny. Denny ate it up alive. He loved it. But thank you so much to all the folks out there that walked up to Denny and told them that he saw him on our show. That's a testament as to what it is that we try to do. Denny gave us some new logos tonight to talk about. And the first one is the Duluth, Wasabi, and Iron Range. Did I say that right?
Yes, yes.
That's a brand new logo that he's got. And there's also a DM and IR, same railroad, Yellowstone 2884, engine number 227 that you could have printed on a jacket and or a cap or a shirt. The next logo that he wants me to talk about was a California Zephyr, the Way of the Zephyrs, the West Wind. It's a very beautiful logo with all the Western Pacific, the Burlington Route, and the Rio Grande logos on this. And the last logo he wanted me to talk about is the new Auto Train logos that he came out with for that train that used to run all the way down to Florida, as I
Still
recall.
does.
Where they
Yep,
would load up your
still does.
automobiles onto this train so you could take your car with you.
Right.
Yeah, this was
they
the
still do
initial.
that.
This was the initial experiment with the auto train. Just as Amtrak was coming onto the scene, I know they bought up a lot of the old Santa Fe full domes, put them onto that train. It seems like a neat service, and I wish it would be in more areas of the country where we
Right.
could access it.
So check it out at yelsma.com. These are not stitched. This is not printed. This is the most beautifully made embroidery in the model railroad industry. A lot of beautiful graphics. Again, jackets and hats. This is the winter season, and this is the time to get your beautiful jacket to show your railroad colors at yelsma.com. So now we can have some fun and talk about model railroading with our own layouts. Now, James, you just have completed that new home that you have moved into where you built the second story on your existing house. And I'm assuming you're getting your workshop put back together, because I'm seeing some results here on the table tonight.
Well, so yeah, I'm sort of reassembling it gradually, temporarily. Our basement is still a complete wreck, but that's that's gradually getting reorganized, and some of that stuff will be moving back downstairs here soon. This is the same tower that I had a couple months ago here, and now I've added lights to it, sort of in the pattern that I've wanted to do, and kind of inspired after that radio tower close to the corner of Hanley and Manchester.
Okay.
Here in town.
Yeah, I remember when they built that tower.
So it's always a very dominant, very capturing structure whenever we drive past it, which where we live is frequently. So yeah, that kind of inspired this model.
Well, the cool thing that I never knew about those is during the day those strobes are white.
Right.
And then at night
Then
they
at night, they
automatically
turn to
flip.
red.
And I never knew that, and yours does the same
Yeah,
thing.
mine does the same thing. And Ken, if you had your lights on a dimmer, we could really demonstrate it at full potential here.
We'll shoot it later
But-
without the lights on.
We can do that. So go ahead and describe the lighting arrangement on it.
So-
I think Mike just did.
So yeah, I have the white lights, at 3 different levels here at the top, and then sort of in the middle, and then sort of just at about the 70-foot level or so. Obviously, on the real tower, they'd be a bit taller.
Yeah, right.
But
Then it would be going through your ceiling too.
Right, and this is actually a little bit shorter now than the one that than when I brought it earlier.
It's not too obtuse.
But,
It'll
yeah.
fit on your layout.
Right.
Right. It was actually running into your ceiling last time, so.
Yeah.
But so I can demonstrate it, this little building here, actually appropriately for this week. It's WKRP in Cincinnati. As God is my witness, I thought those turkeys could fly. But you can put on whatever call letters, like KMOX would also work,
Right.
Or here locally. It has a optical sensor on top. So I have my finger over the optical sensor. It's now flashing red
I
because
see that.
it has no light.
Changed.
Yeah. So, and this entire thing is 3D printed, as is this control building here. And one of the things about 3D design, on the one hand, you can get really neat models, but you can also engineer them to really work and fit with other things that you have. The roof of this structure has 4 pegs that mount a perf board into the top and kind of hold it by press fit. And the perf board has an Arduino mounted to it, and the optical sensors and all of the wiring.
So the
and circuitry.
WKRP sign, you didn't glue it to it. You printed it
I
on
printed it on there. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can put letters right onto your 3D mesh and print them out that way.
That's cool.
The base of the building, this is basically the 3 major components. You got the walls, you got the base, you got the roof, and then separately applied windows and doors. But this base actually will house a 9-volt battery.
And then the walls fit around that base.
And so one of the interesting things when you're doing the 3D design, coming up with a neat structure is one thing, but then going back in and trying to make it functional, you have all sorts of dimensions there that have to be very precise.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. So it kind of gives you the ability to do that and to experiment without worrying about wasting a whole project if you get it wrong.
Makes sense.
You're out of print maybe in some resin, but
Well, that model's cool too because the cables, the wires of the LEDs coming down look like cables. I mean, it looks pretty prototypical, except for where it enters the building. But you could make it look good,
I've got to figure that one out. Like, I hadn't really designed anything to get the wires into the building, I was realizing, but I think probably on the roof, as it is right now, would be the easiest way to integrate it into the board.
Right.
But yeah, I could definitely see, putting holes in there to mount the SIP pin or the metal portions of the SIP pin right into the roof of the building so that they're even less obtrusive. And then like putting a baffle up so that it masks the rest of it, just like I have 2 little heat vents, and one of them masks that sensor.
It's very well thought out.
So there's a lot that you can really do with it.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, that little building just by itself is a cool little structure that, you know, you see those in every day when you're driving around. You don't really pay any attention to them because there's so many of those little, you know, older ones are made out of brick like that, and you know, that's pretty neat.
And that ectomobile I had, you know, at the end of October, it's not ready yet, but I've gone back, redesigned the 3D mesh to basically make it easier to add LED lighting and all of that to it. And I've figured out, you know, exactly how I can get it to work.
Wow.
Just hopefully get it so that I can put 2 wires into the car, have everything run.
Yeah.
Off of those 2 wires, have everything else under the hood or someplace where it's not easily seen.
Now, you're also planning a layout in this new basement of yours, aren't you?
Yes.
And this is going to be designed from a standpoint of being modular so that you can move it or take it outside and shoot it.
Right. Well, and also so that I can work at one section at a time and sort of build off of that gradually and sort of have the satisfaction of a completed module.
Right.
I mean, that's one thing that I've really been editing a lot of articles on in Model Railroad Hobbyists, that they had the one modular approach contest a few years back, and people submitted all sorts of different layout designs where you choose an industry or a town that you want to focus on, and you build the first module, and then you sort of have a plan of where you want it to go. But you have it designed so that you have your staging, you have the module, you know, maybe a turn-back loop or something like that on the other end, so that you can have the satisfaction of having an operational layout even before it's complete. And you can decorate that module to the hilt if you want to, and you know, have it really looking sharp, really looking ready to go.
Yes.
So, and I think that's really a good approach to the hobby in general, just because I think one of the big frustrations, at least growing up, that was one of the big frustrations. We had this monumental layout that my dad and I were building at home, and it just became too big a task and didn't wind up going anywhere because it just became too big and get busy with other things.
One of the most enjoyable dioramas that I ever had was when I initially moved out of my parents' home into a house in Webster Groves. Didn't have room for a layout. That's when I started the Midwest Valley Modelers layout, as my excuse to have a layout was to start a club, right?
Right.
But that 6-foot diorama that I built out of Rango guttering, it was my attempt where I had laid humasote on top of this plastic guttering material that I figured had the structural integrity to hold up, and it did. It was only 6 feet long, a foot wide. All the electronics were built into it, which you could then drill holes through the guttering, the plastic guttering material, put your lights, put your switches for all the turnouts and all the details like that. I got so much pleasure out of that. I scratch built, hand laid my track. I scratch built all the buildings board by board, because when it's that small, you can really get into it. And just having a switch engine and a few freight cars, you know, I could be entertained for a good 20 or 30 minutes before it was time for dinner, or I had to start doing my work for the night, chasing foreclosures or whatever I was doing at the time, which is what I was doing. But now I can tell you this great big layout that I've got all around me, the 157 feet of main line, however many miles that is, it is overwhelming. And I thought by building it modularly, which I did, it would be easier to be able to just work on one section at a time, which turned out to be true. But again, when they're all together and it's time to clean it or time to vacuum it or time to clean the track, the one beauty of it is you can run long trains. You can't run long trains in a 6-foot diorama, but on a 6-foot diorama, you don't have to.
Right.
So there's a lot of different philosophies out there on sizes of layouts. What's the right size to build? There have been articles done on it, books done on it.
In fact, there's an ongoing series in Running Extra, Model Railroad Hobbyist, from Jim Six, and he's designing a one-town modular layout where it's simply one town, and with all the industries from, I think, the 19-teens until about 1930s is his end date. But he's been he's been working on this, conceptualizing exactly how it would work, and then going back and looking at the old Sanborn fire maps,
Yeah.
Right.
and designing the layout accordingly to just service all those old industries, sort of bring them back,
Yeah,
and that sort of thing.
That's cool, man.
It's a fascinating concept.
I hadn't heard anything from him in a while. I'm glad to see he's still doing stuff.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. He's just gotten a new house, and he has a basement with layout plans for it.
Nice.
He's wanting to keep it small because he's getting on in age, but that's also why he's wanting to keep it. He's wanting to design it small
Sure.
and manageable so that he
Right.
can finish it out within a year or two and then enjoy it after that. Has it
Right.
planned out for running, I think, 2 or 3 trains, 3 through freights plus the locals and passenger trains. You can have quite an operation in a relatively small space.
Another thing that I've learned through the years was when I used to belong to various train clubs, where I didn't have to focus on building a layout. All I had to do is focus on my consists, my trains, the locomotives, the various freight cars, whether it was the Amtrak train, for example, the Overland Brass Superliners. Oh my God, they were so beautiful. And the, at the time, Pacific Fast Mail F40s that would pull that train. It's so much fun to be able to just work on your trains, focus on the wheels, focus on the scale, thickness of the wheels, as we used to love to do. And the couplers, and look at Dave Davis doing those Surgeon couplers, a very detailed scale couplers. There's
Right.
so many different aspects of the hobby, and we've talked about this before with scenery and architecture and geology and all that. But when you're just simply modeling your trains, and then you've got cases to carry them in, to get them to and from the club. You don't have your own layout,
Right.
but you've got shelves at home to display them on. There's so many different ways to be passionate about this hobby where you actually don't have to have a layout. And that's another great way to do that. Now, I noticed you brought some Broadway Limited locomotives tonight, James.
Well, I didn't have a particular reason for bringing them other than I wanted to have like sort of a family shot, and I've never run all 3 of them at the same time.
So we're doing
and
that
so I thought
tonight.
I might give that a try this evening. On the right here is, or my right, I guess your left, but that's this is the Mikado that they came out with a couple of years ago. And then this is, of course, the Blue Goose that came out just a couple months ago. And then this is the 3751.
Right.
This was the first Broadway Limited locomotive that we got probably, when was it? I was just out of high school, so 99, 2000, thereabouts.
I hear they're doing Paragon 4
But
now.
Paragon, and Paragon 4 is miles better than anything that they've had before, I'll say that. So it's, I'm pretty impressed with these. These 2 are Paragon 4, of course. This one was originally Quantum, I think.
Okay.
It was pre-Paragon. Now it's TCS WOW inside, but
I would love to interview Broadway Limited and bring them on.
Yeah.
Just get Bob on the show and just hear his passion for the hobby and his philosophy through the years, as I've got so many of their beautiful models on the shelf here.
And I will say they have a knack for, I keep saying, oh, well, I don't need another steam locomotive. I'm not really going to model steam. But, then, oh, well, that mic looks really nice. Or that Blue Goose looks really nice.
Right?
Yeah.
I got to find an excuse for it somewhere.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Mike, you do look nice. Some more news out of the show this weekend from TrainFest was that David Leibach from Tangent Scale Models has come out with Centralia shop cabooses, Illinois Central,
Yes.
Yep.
in like 12 or 14 different paint schemes.
Yeah.
Absolutely an amazing project that he has tackled with that.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of great information that came out of that show, and I look forward to some of these new products, getting them on this table to be able to share with the viewers out there. Another thing I noticed today in show notes was, because I knew you were bringing the 3D stuff, and we always talk about GNL Robotics on the show, GNLRoboticsUSA.com, because he supplied you with your printers, he supplied me with my filament printer back there. But now I've looked through his website, and he's got a whole array of new printers and parts on his website. Some of the printers are $12,900 machines.
Whoa.
So he's really gotten some commercial duty
Yeah.
machines.
Commercial duty and
Flash Forge. for example?
I haven't seen the stats for this one, but I'd bet that the $12,000 price tag is because this thing is huge.
I'll bet.
Like that, it has the capability to print tremendous objects. You know that. You know,
Auto
beyond
parts.
beyond even the model, beyond even the modeling
Oh,
world,
yeah.
that you can really do a lot with them.
I know, coming up on this Thanksgiving, man, we want to wish Greg and all the folks in our industry happy coming up. Here comes the holidays. I think
right.
Holly
Yeah.
told me it's another
Yeah.
34 days till Christmas. So,
Great.
I know, right? I know, it's moving so fast. Mike,
Yeah.
what did you bring tonight, brother?
Well, kind of expanding on my Penn Central Conrail theme last week, I ran across this car that I did a long time ago, but I always liked it because I used to see it up at the Ford plant in suburban Hazelwood, Missouri, suburban St. Louis, and it was obviously a Redding car, but it was another one of those cases where the shop took a roller and just painted out the RDG and re-stenciled it hastily and sent it out. So this is an really old E&C car shops.
Okay.
Then it turned into LBF, then Hubert's, and I don't know, that mold was passed around through a bunch of different companies, but I always thought they were okay models. A lot of people don't like them, I guess, because they're kind of coarse, but I liked this. I had this box car and I wanted to try it, so.
Well, a lot of those old models, you know, they can really
Right.
they can really fit right in there. You know, I mean that like there's always been a debate. You know, like how does it really pay to have everything in your consist like
Right.
super duper detailed? I mean, in an ideal world, yeah, that's
Right.
what we'd all want.
Yeah.
But you know, you get even those old Atherton Blue Box cars, you know, into your consist. They'll look okay with a little bit of weathering
Right.
and a little bit of updates, you know, but they fit right in there, and you can fill out your consist in a fairly cost-effective
Plus, it's
way.
been my experience, the more detailed parts you put on them,
The more fall off,
more
right?
break off, yeah. Especially taking them back and forth to people's
Right.
houses and
That's-
stuff.
That's the problem, right? When you get all
Yeah.
those details on them, they get dinged off when in derailment, just like the real thing. And
Now,
so
this
it's,
early auto rack that you brought is one of my most favorite models that you've
Yeah.
ever shared down here. Just the color of the cars, but the fact is it reminds me of the old Lionel auto rack,
Well, that's exactly what it is.
which was a
although-
prototype.
Or one. There was only
Right.
one
That is
made.
right.
What it is basically is the Evans auto rack that was inside of the 50-foot box cars, just built on a flat car with a supporting frame on the side, and it was an experiment. And I've got a few pictures of them hauling different vehicles, but I guess that was one of the forerunners of today's auto racks in a way, you know, although they had stuff even way earlier than that. But I took the Revell auto hauler. It's an old kit of a 4-car auto hauler,
Okay.
and I cast the tread pieces from that to use as the ramp parts in here, and just use photos to position the ramps and the autos in a traveling position. So the real prototype was a New York Central car, and I never got as far as changing that. I used the one I had. I think it's a B&O, yeah, which is totally a Fubi, you know. But everybody liked that Athearn and Lionel car when they were kids, and so I thought it might be fun to try and make one look a little more real than they came, you know.
Nice
So,
work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
totally out of my era.
We don't have to do a show next week. Next week, I've got to get the January What's Neat put together, and I haven't started on that yet. I do know that Dan Michio will be in that video, and I'm not sure what else is going to be in it. Maybe I'll start on this layout and start creating some scenery again for the What's Neat show. Or I might pull stuff off of some back stuff that I filmed a long time ago and bring it out as new material because it's never been seen before. Best hobby in the world with the best people in it. We're going to take the NCE Pro Cab.
Yeah.
You get to have that to run your Broadway Limited stuff tonight.
All right.
Mikey's got that one. I've got another one on the table back here. I can't wait to run those trains. I would like
Yeah.
to videotape them and drop that into this video as you talked about what you were going to do. We've got plenty of freight cars to put behind them.
Oh, okay.
So I think you got figured out. Good job on the tower. I'll shoot B-roll of that and make that look good. Got Guys, thank you very much for helping do what we do to help promote this hobby together. We used to just play and model together all the time, and now we do it with all of our friends, you out there, that get to view and bring us into your living room every single week. We really appreciate that. We miss Joshua tonight. I think he'll be back in 2 weeks with us as he's opening up that brand new Sugar Fire the first 12 days of December.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, we wish all of you a very happy holiday season. This is Thanksgiving in this country coming up on Thursday this week. I will have this show out by Tuesday, so everything should schedule out just right. And with that said, this is the best hobby in the world with you guys, the best people in it. And let's go run some trains.
All right.
And we need to do a quick thumbnail. And it's just really weird not having a camera operator. And I think this is just a beautiful car.
It is.
It's very big.
Yeah.
So I will hold this up.
What's the build date on that? Can you see?
It says 78.
Wow, I could actually use
Actually,
that.
I don't know. Let me double check and put on 2 pairs of glasses. It says 76.
Oh wow, so that would work on my layout.
Dude, this is
That is nice.
it's
That's
sweet.
beautiful.
It is sweet. And so is a cool car. I mean, dude,
Yeah.
I didn't take the coal out. Check it out. It's
Right.
got all the ribs in it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
This is tricked out. The fidelity is just amazing. All right, let's do our thumbnail
Rapido
shot.
truly does
Hold
not.
up something and smile at the cameras. Ready? On 3. 1, 2. And I know I just don't have 2 pairs of glasses on. Let's do that again. All right, that's that. We got a wrap on show tonight.
Yeah, that's a
Guys,
nice
happy
car.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I
same
will
to you,
check
man.
the sound file, make sure we got good sound, and kill 2 cameras. And I think we've got another winner for this week. Just like
Whose
done it
is this at Intermountain?
no, that's Rapido.
Rapido. Oh.
We got some Intermountain stuff coming up for the next month's show. They've got a lot of new product coming out. I can't wait to share with everybody. Flat cars, a lot of neat new stuff.
Wow.
So it's
I
just
like
the hobby's
this.
not changing. It's just going gangbusters.
Yep.
I'm really happy to hear that. As we roll credits, we'll go ahead and stop sound and kill camera 2. This one easy, you know?
It easy cut.
Now, is this
it
the
is.
same guy that was talking about doing a